well as the interesting food, rendang, is it rendang?
Yeah.
The processing of rendang, and I want to save people's life. I want to protect people around me. There are a lot of and limit our imagination and discovery of the topic. Most anything. So it was the crisis management for tourism. That's definitely.
Okay, so wow, it really is actually a really broad topic then, yeah. And there's a lot of elements that you mentioned that differs that I would I would say have to be deal subjectively, like uh, each element has their own unique challenges, and that becomes one of the biggest challenges for facing crisis and disasters in tourism. Yeah, but can you give us a general sense on what measures can tourism destinations take to prepare for a potential crisis and disasters that at least people should know upon, specifically in the tourism industry?
I hope I can have a comprehensive measure or tools to educate or train people, but it's not an easy way because of the disaster happened. You never know when and where, and people have different perspective towards risk. Therefore, it's really hard to provide a very comprehensive big picture of the, let's say, the checklists or the audit or some of the tools. But researchers, as well as many, let's say, local and federal government, non-for-profit organizations, associations have to work together and try to first understand risk, crisis, and disaster better. Second, try to understand how people can react appropriately, and finally to develop strategies to reduce the risk, to minimize the impact of crisis, and come together to respond and recover from a disaster. So usually I will look at issue from different level, from the individual level, both from human being, people's insights, try to understand the elements, the factors will influence their motivation do or not do something. Whether they want to protect themselves from a particular risk, depending on their knowledge, depending on their emotions sometimes, depending on the pressure they receive from their peers, from their social significant let's say, norms around them, which means the people who are important to you, whether they support you or suggest you to take action. So that's more individual level. At the organizational level, we have multiple ways to look at risk and crisis management. Because organizations have different size, so big versus small, it has different type. It can be private or public, state-owned. So the nature of the organization will also affect how they respond to risk and crisis and disaster. And also we'll see culture play an important role. No matter it's a national culture or it's organizational culture, will also influence people who work in that organization and how organization will react in particular way. So when we look at the organizational level, we want to see the history of the organization, the type, the nature, the size, all affect an organizational behavior. And we want to see what kind of the key elements can support the organization to prepare for the risk, to respond to the crisis and recover quicker. Then at a higher level is the destination level. Sometimes it will involve government, local or federal. So at the destination level, we want to know the structure of the organization, the government, the role of that destination played in a particular province, and how the government structure and the political system will enhance their response. Sometimes it involves multi-department to work together to deal with emergency. You need police services to come on board. You need medical health, let's say hospitals, or some rescue team to help with the disaster response. And sometimes you will involve media, either mass media or we say organic social media. And all these different type of elements will influence the management, the mitigation, preparedness. So I can't give you a very simple way or measure to deal with these risk, crises, and disasters. But I should say a lot of time I will think that at different level, at the individual level, at organizational level, and at destination and the government level. All these different levels need to work together so that they can help people to reduce risk, to communicate the risk and the warning, as well as provide action to help people to mitigate and to protect themselves. A lot of time, I should say, knowledge, effective communication, as well as social influence. All these are very, very key to influence people's decision. Therefore, my research is trying to understand people's behavior reacted to all type of different travel-related risks. Can be privacy risk, can be health risk, can be adventurous risk, and physical risk, financial risk, and so on. And how we can work together to solve the challenging problem in the real world.
Okay, wow. Good. Thank you for the insights. And now I'd like these still talking about crisis and disasters. I think, of course, in terms of solutions, we have to consider the longevity of the stack particular solution as well. We wanted to sustain if we want it to be a long-term thing rather than just doing tackle it by medium short run. So can you give us your take on how can destinations build long-term resilience to withstand those future processes?
I think destination is a broad term. It involves, as I said, individuals. Individual can be the tourists, visitors from outside the region, can be domestic tourists, can be international tourists. Individual can also relate to residents. So it can be the employees, the staff member involved in the travel providers can also involved in the individuals at the government level. So as you can see, even at the individual level, they are already have multiple stakeholders from external visitors, tourists, to the internal employees, residents, and you can see a lot of conflicts and different relationships and different voices come up with these we usually call customer-host relationship. So these are something as a destination we should consider. At the organization level, we have a lot of discussion related to the relationship between organization and the government, or organization at the destination marketing operators or organizations, whether the, let's say, organizations from overseas, they are investors, or they are local investors and from the local region. They have different value systems and different organizational mission. that will affect the destination, whether or not and how to support them. And then the government level, state, vices, federal, no matter it's in Indonesia or Australia or in China or in the United States, all have different agenda and priorities. How to make everybody agree on the priority and put investment on the right spot at right time for the right people. It's not easy. So even it's from destination level, how to help them to better prepare for crisis. You can see it's a multi-stakeholders point of view. So many different conflicts, agreement or disagreement, negotiation, communication, hierarchical operations, and human being rights, and so many different things are involved in this context. So in order to manage all these different stakeholders' point of view, we need to first understand the structure. In different destinations, we have very different operations. Australian destination has very different operation with comparing to Indonesia organization and destinations. Therefore, we need to understand the background of the place, the culture and the religious and the social value of this place. Without this knowledge acknowledgement, we can't have good management. And also another thing I want to emphasize is people or organization or destination put a lot of efforts on response and recovery because they know, oh, something happened. There is a tsunami or there is an earthquake happen. We have to respond to that quickly. We have to provide support scheme, financial support, as well as medical assistance to that region because it's urgency. And media, journalists, and then a lot of the social media on like the opinion leaders will come along. So government and destinations spend a lot of time and money on response and recovery, but they didn't realize, more importantly, planning and preparation is crucial. If we can spend enough money on preparation and planning, sometimes you can reduce a lot of, sometimes they said 4 times the money spent on response and recovery, like higher than the preparation and planning. So we need to work with multiple stakeholders, such as insurance company, such as planning department, to do the work before something bad events happen. If you can have a good warning system, if you can evacuate people appropriately, if we can consider vulnerable people's needs and batteries and do something in advance, we can save a lot of lives and we can minimize the negative financial impact on that destination. So what I want to say is, for destination government, they need to change the mindset. Preparation and planning is always more important than the response and the recovery. If we can do preparation way better than the concept status, the money spent on response and recovery can be reduced more than half. So at the destination level, they need to have strategic planning and understand what could be the best way to reduce the risk and to reduce the negative impact of the disaster.
Why do you think that the government or all of the stakeholders that you previously mentioned are that aware with the mitigation aspect of this? Like, is it because of lack of sense of urgency, or like why particularly they neglect on in that particular area, even though it is clearly showed that it is a huge part of crisis and disaster management?
I think there are two types of factors influence that. One is the internal factors. So that factors, let's say, people's awareness. If we say an individual, whether or not they can understand a particular risk very well, it depends on your knowledge, depends on your past experience, depends on your attitudes toward particular reaction or action you can take to save your life. If you doubt it, if you disagree with those actions somebody recommended to you, then you probably won't do that. And also, whether or not you feel the social pressure outside of you, your parents, your boss, your neighbors, your, let's say, co-workers, your many other type of people around you, whether or not they encourage you to do some preparation, that will affect your behavior. So these are all internal individual factors. But for, let's say, organizational government point of view, the internal barriers or motivator can related to training, knowledge, expertise, attitudes, perception, and many others. So internally, it really depends whether you have that past experience. If somebody has had past experience of a dramatic nature disaster, next time they'll be more cautious and take more action. Therefore, we need to share the stories, share the experience with people to raise the awareness. So these more internal factors. External factors, whether or not you have money, whether you have time, whether you have expertise to support you. And for the government, whether you receive requirement from outside the world to push you to do something. Same as the Carbon Commission. If, let's say, the United Nations or let's say a lot of the global non-for-profit organization tell you there is a pressure and you have to do that. Otherwise, you will get punishment. So if they don't have this requirement and this urgency and this pressure, then they will focus on other things rather than crisis and disaster preparation, because the money, the time spent on these things sometimes won't have an immediate return of investment. That's very different to you purchase let's say a property, you sell it after 1 year, you get the money. But sometimes if you, let's say, don't have a natural disaster happen within 1 year, a lot of time the return of investment is not that obvious. And that will affect governors, let's say, whether or not they can demonstrate their leadership, whether they can show to the people who believe them they put the money in the right place. That's a lot of the question. Therefore, these external factors, and it could be the facilitator, could be the barriers, affect people's decision, affect governors or decision makers' decision, whether or not they want to put money on preparation and disaster planning. So it's not easy and very complicated. And government, organization, and a human individual all have our urgency to do something. So if you don't have the knowledge and don't have the risk awareness and don't have such a pressure to push you to do the right thing, then you ignore it and do something else. Maybe generate, let's say, money, or you do a lot of other things have a very relatively short-term benefits, immediate benefits. So that's why doing disaster preparation and planning is not something you can see the benefits immediate. Sometimes you can see that once something happened. So the story I want to share is during the 2008 Sichuan earthquake. we can see hundreds of the school buildings crashed, destroyed. But there is one building survived. During that event, there is one school, all the building still there. And that saved children's lives, and all the families, parents were very lucky, because that school, they have a very high standard of building the requirement. And the investors on the building company, they have a very strict audit and make sure those buildings can be resilient after a certain amount, like a degree of earthquake, and they survive. So as you can say, if, let's say, in a period of time, if no earthquake happen, nobody will see the benefits of building high standard of school buildings. However, that happened, and then people know if we have higher standard of building system, some of, let's say, we said ethical consideration, and put more money to prepare for those potential earthquake or tsunami, we actually can save more money for the rescue and save lives. But it's a relatively mid-term or long-term benefit. We can't see it immediately. Once it happens, we will see the benefits.
Okay, so better safe than sorry. I would say mitigation is definitely another thing that all of us, not just the government, are doing, thanks to all the factors that you mentioned, to be aware of in order to be able to tackle this issue in the long term. Okay, so I noticed that you were part of the Australian Indonesian Business Visit Insta. So I've read about it quite a bit, and I think that's like usually interesting thing. So, and you maybe you can share to the audience like what the value proposition that you guys are bringing in, of course the long-term goals, where do you want to bring this hub in the future?
I think this is a good question relating to the previous sharing, because it's hard for the government, association, or community to realize the importance of the knowledge of awareness. Therefore, university or researchers can do many things to educate people, educate not only individuals but also the government and organizations. The purpose to build this hub is trying to gather resources not only from Indonesia, but more importantly during that time from the Australian government. So this hub was funded by DFAT from Australia, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trading. So this DFAT comment help us into the sort of strategic outline into the financial support. And also give us some of the guidance into the communication to the media. So we have directors from each country, from Australia as well as Indonesia, and we try to connect to small businesses in the region, in particular in Padang, in Indonesia. So our mission is trying to gather all kinds of experts from Australia, from global worldwide, and try to help to find the solution for the local businesses. During that time, it's a COVID, so tourism hard hit by COVID. A lot of businesses, they suffered, like church businesses, and then that affect employees and the survival, they can't survive. So during that time, our focus is trying to help businesses, especially small businesses, to overcome the impact of the COVID, and then find the way to further develop the business to to be more sustainable. Now, after COVID, we have few years recovered from COVID. We still see many other type of challenges for small business in Indonesia, such as natural disaster. So we want to connect to experts from Australia and Indonesia to offer help, like mentorship for the small businesses to find a better way to help them to sell the product, be more innovative, and find the better way to market themselves to overseas sometimes. As I said, because people are lack of knowledge, lack of networks, lack of resource gathering skills, and so on. So the hub aims to enhance the capacity building for the local community. And we also identify some elements need to be considered, such as the women leadership, local wisdom, as well as the religious connection, and how all kinds of local power and local resources can be gathered together to help the individual small businesses to find a better way to develop. So we hope this hub can continue to work with more local support. And when I visit the Little Museum a few days ago, I'm impressed by all kinds of collection at the museum. But I also talked to the staff member in the museum. They share their concern how to better showcase all this collection and utilize this collection as a way to better connect people and inspire people to do businesses or for economic development. So we hope, let's say, Hub one day can work with the organizations like a museum or like some association. We come together to serve and to help small businesses and the individual to solve their business problems and try to make them more sustainable. So I personally hope that Hub can go beyond Australia and Indonesia. I hope the Hub can connect people even from China, from United Kingdom, from United States, or other European country or Africa to be more global. And I hope the Hub can be the place we can connect not only researchers, but also industry leaders to share their views and visions and on their value and inspire other people. So we just have a very brief planning. We want to develop more case study and put on the Hub website. We want advocacy. So we want people who were successful through the journey. We want to identify those role models and share with more audience, broad audience, and let these individuals from the local to inspire other people from the local, and then we can work together. So these are perhaps something we can plan and do, and we hope we can gather more support and more encouragement from the community, such as the University of Quensland, such as the local government, such as the community leaders. So we have the hope that the overarching goal is to help businesses save lives and build the capacity for this local region to be more sustainable. And I hope that can be one influential knowledge exchange value or think tank for the local places. And that is something academics like me, like somebody from outside the world, are willing to support and make real impact. So as a person from University of Quensland, our slogan is we want to make positive change. We want to be the change maker, not only produce knowledge in paper but also do some real world action to help people and organization at the destination.